readers, welcome to Novels with Nat. Today is going to be a bit of a chatty video. I'm going to go through Goodreads list where they have released the 144 most read books on the 2025 Goodreads reading challenge. So I always find it interesting to look at the list that Goodreads provides and just see what other people are reading, see what's popular, what people are rating highly, and see how that compares to what I'm reading and what I'm interested in. So I just thought we could go through this list today, see what I've read, what I would recommend, what I'm interested in, and just chat a little bit about these books. So let's get to it. I think they have the list organized by genre, so we'll go through one genre at a time. Some of the genres I probably haven't read very many from. I don't read a ton of fantasy or nonfiction. I kind of dabble in, but we shall see. So let's go. Okay, so starting with fiction, I see a lot on here that I'm interested in. First, I see The Wedding People. This one I really do want to read. I've heard great things about it. I just haven't gotten to it. I find with fiction books, I'm interested in all of them, but they just kind of end up sitting on my TBR because I have to be in the right mood for just like a literary fiction story. So that one is on my TBR. Then we have Yellowface, which I have read and I loved. I gave it 4.5 stars. That was a great book. Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. Not super interested in this one. I don't know, just not drawn to it. Remarkably Bright Creatures. I've seen this book around. I honestly have no clue what it's about. It's not really on my radar. Let me know if it should be, though. And then we've got Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors. I have heard also amazing things about this one. I don't think it's currently on my TBR. I'm just not super interested, but perhaps one day I will pick it up. I'm not against it. And we have Liane Moriarty, Here One Moment. I originally wasn't super interested in this one. I think it's about a girl who is on a plane and she starts telling people how they're going to die, and then what she's saying starts coming true. So I wasn't initially super drawn to that. I don't know. It's just something about the synopsis. But then I did end up finding a copy for $1 at a library sale. So I thought, you know what, for $1, I will try it. And if I don't enjoy it, I will pass it along to someone else. But that one is on my physical TBR. We also have Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Not super interested. This one's got like a video game sort of trope. I don't like video games, so not going to read that. And then lastly, Normal People. This one I do have on my physical TBR. I don't think I will like it, but I want to read it and see what the hype is about. I hear you either love it or hate it with this one, so I will give that one a shot. All right, and then we have Demon Copperhead. I have no clue what this book is about. I've heard of it, but I'm really not sure. And then we have this book, which I've also never heard of, All Fours. It's hard to read. No clue. I'm not interested currently. Margot's Got Money Troubles. Probably not going to read it. I've heard it's decent, but not on my radar. And then Hello Beautiful. Again, I have no clue what that's about. I've seen it, but don't know. I don't typically read a ton of literary fiction, but let me know in the comments if any of these you think I definitely should have on my radar or add to my TBR, or that you really enjoyed. Definitely let me know. I'm looking to read more literary fiction. I just kind of don't know where to start. So I would love to hear your thoughts. All right, now we're moving along to historical fiction, which I don't read a ton of. I don't have a ton on my physical TBR or just my TBR in general, but let's see what we've got. We'll go through this one kind of quickly. We have The Women by Kristen Hanna. I do have 2 Kristen Hanna books on my TBR currently, my physical TBR. I have The Nightingale, which is what I want to start with. And then I also have The Four Winds, which I found at a thrift store. So I'm going to start with those 2. So I'm not initially drawn to The Women. I also see The Nightingale is the 3rd book over here. James by Percival Everett. I'm not interested. I heard it was a good book, but just don't think it's the book for me. Frozen River, again, not interested. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I have read and I loved. One of my favorite books of all time. Lessons in Chemistry. I have a copy. I ended up getting it. I don't even know where. I didn't pay for it. I got it for free from someone gave it to me. Um, oh, I remember. I think it was like if you bought 3 books, you got one for free or something. So I picked that one up from a thrift store. Um, I would like to try it, but I'm not hopeful that I will love it. But I will try it. Another Kristen Hanna. Small things like these. I don't know what that is. Um, some more I've never heard of. The this Kate Quinn book. Haven't heard of it. Daisy Jones and the Six is on my physical TBR. I really want to get to that one. And then 2 more that I don't know anything about. Wayward and The Berry Pickers. Okay, so if you are a historical fiction reader, let me know if there's any on here that I 100% should read. Or if you have any recommendations for someone who doesn't read a lot of historical fiction but would like to dip their toes in very slowly, let me know. All right, now we're on to mysteries and thrillers, which is my most read genre. I have read or attempted to read every book on this list except for one. Um, so that's pretty good. Let's go through them. We have a lot of Frida McFadden. I'm not surprised. Her books are very popular. So we have The Crash, which I read. It was fine. 3 stars, kind of forgettable. Not her worst one, though. Then we have The Housemaid, which I loved. I love this series. Pretty much the only books from Frida McFadden that I really enjoy. Um, that one was great. Then we have The Boyfriend. I didn't like The Boyfriend. I think I gave it 2.5 stars. It was kind of boring, to be honest. Wasn't a fan. Then we have The God of the Woods, which is a really popular literary mystery book from last year. I ended up DNFing this one. I started it and I just found it really boring. I was kind of surprised because I do really love literary thrillers and slow burn mysteries. But this one in particular was just not my vibe. I was just not enjoying it, so I DNF'd it. Um, then the other 2 books in the Housemaid series, both were good. I really preferred the first and the second book. The third one was just kind of okay, but still it was decent. Never Lie by Frida McFadden. That one was one of her better ones as well. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. The Silent Patient was super popular. Um, Not surprised to see it here. I enjoyed it. 4 stars. Wasn't an all-time favorite. Oh my gosh, more Frida McFadden. She has this entire list taken over. I did read The Inmate. It was fine as well. Then Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. This one I have not read and it is not on my radar. I've read 3 Alice Feeney books so far: Rock, Paper, Scissors, Sometimes I Lie, and Daisy Darker. And I have not given any of them any higher than 3 stars. She's just not an author for me. I just don't enjoy her books for whatever reason. I don't enjoy the twists, or the writing is okay. It's not anything crazy, but yeah, she's just not the author for me. So I decided to stop reading her books. But her release for next year looks really good. The synopsis sounds really interesting. So I am tempted to pick that one up. I probably will. And we'll see. If I do really enjoy that one, maybe I'll circle back to Beautiful Ugly, but I have not read that one. And then we have Lisa Jewell's None of This Is True. I read it, I liked it, I didn't love it. And then lastly, The Teacher by Frida McFadden. This one was absolutely awful. Plot holes everywhere, just ridiculous. I would not recommend that one. It's one of her worst. All right, now we're on to fantasy. So the first book I have read, which I'm surprised, I don't really read a lot of fantasy, which was The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Really enjoyed it. It was great. It was, I don't know if I would classify it as fantasy. It didn't feel like fantasy. It felt more like magical realism, maybe, which I guess maybe could be considered a part of fantasy. I really don't know. Light fantasy, if you want to call it that. I liked it. It was great. Then we have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which is on my physical TBR. I've heard such amazing things about this book, so I really want to get to it. It is on the longer side, so I do tend to put it off, which I should stop and I should just pick it up. Another book on my TBR is The House in the Cerulean Sea, or Of the Cerulean Sea? In the Cerulean Sea. The House in the Cerulean Sea. I really want to get to it. The cover is gorgeous. It looks so good. I want to try that. Song of Achilles. Um, This one and also Circe by the same author, which is also on this list. I'm not super interested in. I do have a copy of Circe. I got it for like 50 cents at a library sale. Honestly, I'm probably just going to unhaul it. I'll put it in a free little library. Just not, doesn't seem, I just don't have an interest in Greek mythology per se. So I'll probably unhaul that one. Before the Coffee Gets Cold, I do want to read that. I need to add it to my TBR. I don't think I've officially written it down on my list, but I am intrigued. I will give the first one a shot and see if I want to continue on in the series. Babel by R.F. Kuang. This one is on my physical TBR. I cannot wait to get to it. It's just, I feel like if I'm going to read a fantasy book, R.F. Kuang is the author for me. She writes like, it's kind of got like a dark academia aspect and it talks about language. From my understanding, I'm super excited to get to that one. I also, crazy enough, I got a hardcover copy of Babel for $1 at a library sale. That library sale I went to, which I've been referring to, there were so many popular books and they were all between 50 cents and $1. That is my favorite used book sale of the year. I look forward to it every spring, so I cannot wait till next spring for it to come around again. And then we have The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This one I would like to read, but it's a bit lower on my priority list just because it is a series. I am more of a standalone reader, but we'll see. After I read Babel and Catabasis by R.F. Kuang, which is coming out very soon, we'll see if I really enjoy them, and then I'll pick up Poppy War if I do. Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I had a copy which I recently unhauled in a free little library video that is posted. It just wasn't super interesting to me. I'm not like an epic fantasy reader. If I'm gonna read a fantasy, it's gonna be something a little bit lighter fantasy, or it has to be on a topic that I'm super interested in, particularly like dark academia, something like that. So not interested in Brandon Sanderson. Circe, we already talked about. Some more Brandon Sanderson, same thing. And then The Unmaking of June Farrow, which I have heard about, but I don't know what it is about. I should look into it because it does look interesting. All right, now we're on to romantasy. This is getting even farther away from stuff that I'm interested in. I don't really read romance or fantasy, so when you put them together, it's just like not my vibe. I have read Fourth Wing. Didn't love it, didn't hate it, don't plan to continue. So Onyx Storm and Iron Flame are also on this list, which I probably will not read. Quicksilver, I don't know what that is. A Court of Thorns and Roses and the whole ACOTAR series. I do have a copy of this series on my shelf. I kind of found them at the thrift store and picked them up here and there and collected them for a couple dollars each. I thought for that price I could give them a shot. I kind of regret buying all of them. I should have just read the first one first and decided if I was going to continue. But if not, that series will go to somebody who will probably enjoy it more than me. But I will give it a shot. Then we have this book, One Dark Window. I don't know what it's about. I've heard it's good. I think it's a duology. I'm not 100% positive. I should look into that one because I think I've seen someone talk about it and I was intrigued initially. So I will look into that one. And then we have Zodiac Academy, Serpent in the Wings of Night, and Ashes and the Star Cursed King. No clue what any of those are. I'm not on fantasy booktube or book talk or any of that. All right, now we're on sci-fi, which I do enjoy. I don't read a massive amount of it, but I would like to read more. There are quite a few books on this list that are on my radar. So we have I Who Have Never Known Men. I am in line for this one currently at the library, so I'm very excited to get to it. I think it's about 40 women who are being kept underground for like their whole life, I think, or for a very long time. And we're following their story and what goes on. That's about the extent of what I know about it. I'm excited to get to it. Premise sounds interesting. Then we have Project Hail Mary, which I have read, absolutely loved, one of my favorite sci-fi books ever. We also have Animal Farm and 1984, both by George Orwell. I have read both of these. I don't know why they don't say read. I think I read them like many, many years ago before I started using Goodreads, so that's probably why. But I enjoyed both of these books. They're both great. Orbital. This is one that I've been seeing going around. I don't think I'm super interested in this one, but the cover is really cool. I like it. The Handmaid's Tale. I didn't know that was sci-fi. I don't really know what it's about. I've heard of it. I'm going to look into that one. I did not know it was sci-fi, so that is interesting. The Ministry of Time, I did attempt to read. I got about a third of the way through and I ended up DNFing it. I was just so bored. I wasn't interested. I did hear that there was like a good plot twist towards the end, which I did look up after the fact, and it looked interesting, but I'm glad that I DNF'd it. It just was not intriguing me at the time. And then we have The Measure. This is one of my favorite sci fi books as well. It is so good. It's like sci fi, speculative fiction. It's basically everybody wakes up one day and there is a box on your front step. And inside of the box is a string, and the length of your string, they come to find out, corresponds to the amount of life that you have left to live. And it just follows different perspectives of different characters as they grapple with this information. And then you're also seeing how society is impacted. It was so cool, so good. Definitely read it. And then we have Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Again, on my TBR, really want to get to it. I do have quite a few books out for my public library, so I've been prioritizing those to get them back and returned. But as soon as I'm done those, I'm almost done. They're kind of, I don't know if you can see them behind me. Then Dark Matter will be put on my TBR right away as a priority. Fahrenheit 451 on my TBR, really want to read it. The Parable of the Sower, not on my radar. And this book, I have no clue what it is. All Systems Red, not interested, haven't heard of it. All right, now moving into horror. I do read some horror, not, I guess I have a hard time distinguishing between thrillers and horror. I think a lot of the times when I do read horror, I thought that it was a thriller book and I picked it up and read it, and I guess, I don't know. A lot of the times I feel like I'm reading thriller, but then I check and it's actually classified as horror, which is fine. I still enjoy it. But I should pay more attention to the horror books that I'm reading. We Used to Live Here. This book was enjoyable. It was a good read. In the moment while I was reading it, I was having a good time, but the ending was just not my favorite. I didn't like it. I feel like I went nowhere, and I feel like it's easy to write a book when the ending is so open-ended and loose and isn't really tied together, and that's what I felt like with this one. It was fine though. It was a good time. Hidden Pictures, on the other hand, I did really enjoy. That is by Jason Rekulek, really good. I did not like this author's second book, the last one at the wedding. That one was really bad. I did not like it. Grady Hendrix, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. I did attempt, but I DNF'd, which I was so disappointed by because How to Sell a Haunted House by this author was outstanding. I gave it 5 stars. It was so good. It was like campy horror. I loved it. But this book was just boring. I did not like it at all. Tender as the Flesh is on my TBR. I initially was really afraid to read it just because the concept of it seems terrifying to me. I don't even want to reiterate what it's about. I'm scared to even talk about it. I don't know, that's the kind of horror that freaks me out. But I've heard such good things about it, so I will try it. But if I start to get really scared, then I will have to DNF it. All right, then we have Bunny by Mona Awad. This was on my TBR for the month of August, if you watched my TBR video, and I recently finished it, and I recently, unfortunately, DNF'd it. I hated it. It was insufferable. I couldn't take it any longer. Didn't enjoy it. I'll talk about it more in my wrap up for August. Then we have this book. I don't even know what this is. Frankenstein, the 1918 text. Oh, Frankenstein, I guess. Probably not going to read it. I don't read a lot of classics. Ask for Andrea is on my TBR. I would like to get to that one. Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I read it. I loved it. Love Riley Sager. He can be hit or miss, but Home Before Dark, Lock Every Door, The House Across the Lake, The Only One Left, those are all great. This book, Dracula, not interested. Incidents Around the House, I read and I hated. This book was awful. If you have listened to the audiobook of this one, honestly, it's probably 10 times worse than just reading it with your eyes. The audiobook was horrible. Like the voice of the main character, I couldn't take it. It was so bad. I should have DNF'd this one, but I pushed through and I finished it. Then we have Night Bitch. I haven't heard of it. I'm probably not going to read it. And then Holly by Stephen King, which I would like to read. It is on my physical TBR, but I recently discovered that this is like a book that has like 5 books before it that you have to read that have like continuous characters. So I have a lot of work to do before I can get to Holly. All right, now we're on to romance. I don't read romance, so we're going to go through this very quickly. Um, Allie Hazelwood, not going to read it. Emily Henry, funny story. I would like to read an Emily Henry, but I'm going to start with Book Lovers. I've made that decision. I have a copy, so we'll start with Book Lovers and see if I like her writing or like the book in general. Don't tend to love romance, but we will try it. Lights Out, no. Abby Jimenez, no. Elsie Silver, no. More Abby Jimenez. Twisted Love, First Time Caller, Butcher and Blackbird, The 7-Year Slip. Um, Not interested in any of these books. All right, young adult. It looks like all of this young adult is fantasy, which is interesting. We have Sunrise on the Reaping, which I will read eventually. I still have to read the second and third books in the Hunger Game trilogy, as well as Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So this will be probably much in the future, but I will read it eventually. Throne of Glass series, not super interested. Powerless, no. Rebel Witch, no. Hunger Games, I read and enjoyed. Reckless, and some more of the, I think that's all part of the Throne of Glass. A lot of people were reading Throne of Glass this year, apparently. Making up most of that list. All right, now on to memoirs. This is a category that I do read quite a bit of. I have read quite a few of the ones on this list. We have The House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie. This was actually surprisingly really, really good. I think this is honestly comparable to the second book on the list, which is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy, which was super popular. I think they were both really good. They talk about similar subject matters of like dysfunctional family and mother-daughter relationships. They were both really good. Ina Garden and Gilmore Girl, not interested. Lisa Marie Presley, not interested. Educated, I did read, really enjoyed. That was a great one. Crying in H Mart, same thing. So good, so heartbreaking. So really sad book, honestly. Dolly Alderton, not really interested. I didn't know this was a memoir. That's interesting, but not super interested. Britney Spears, I read. It was good. Not like an all-time favorite memoir, but it was really good. Matthew Perry. I honestly have never watched Friends. I know I need to. So I'm not super interested for right now. The Many Lives of Mama Love, I enjoyed. I just didn't love. It was good. It's about a woman who, if I'm remembering correctly, she was in prison for something and just following her life in that sense. The writing wasn't my favorite, if I'm being honest, but it was fine. And then Matthew McConaughey, not super interested. All right, now we're moving on to history and biography. I'm not going to go into these in super detail. Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. I have heard such amazing things about this book, but I just don't understand what is so captivating about tuberculosis. It's just, maybe I need to read it to find out, honestly. Um, I'm not super interested, but if I come across a copy in the wild, in a thrift store, in a free little library, I will pick it up and I will try it, but I'm probably not going to pay full price for it. Speaking of free little libraries, I did find a copy of the next book in one, and it is The Wager. It's about shipwreck and mutiny and murder, and for similar reasons, it wasn't necessarily on my radar, but because I saw it in a free little library, I thought it's a pretty low stakes way to try it, so I will be trying it. The rest of these books, I do not know what these are. I haven't heard of them, if I'm being honest. Not interested. All right, last category. I had to take a brief intermission. My microphone died. So we are back. One more category to get through. I feel like I've been talking for ages, so let's do this fairly quickly. The let them theory. I am not into self-help. I don't know. It's just not for me. Not interested. Atomic Habits. Is this considered self-help? Because I am interested in that one. I'm probably contradicting myself. I would like to read that one. The Anxious Generation, that one is on my TBR. I would like to read that. The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, I have read it. It was fine. Again, I'm not super into self-help stuff. I have not heard of any of the ones on the second line. And okay, the third line, Invisible Woman, I want to read this. I think it's about like how women are ignored in healthcare and healthcare research. So I would really like to get to that one. The Art Thief is sort of on my radar. I'll read it, but it's not like top priority. And then The Body Keeps the Score, I would definitely like to get to. All right, so we've gone through all 144 books. I'm not sure how long that took. I'm not used to talking that long. I felt like I was talking for like 6 hours. I hope that was somewhat interesting to you. Um, I always like going through these lists and just seeing what is on other people's TBR list and what they're reading and how that relates to what I want to read. I feel like probably about half of these books I've either read or I'm interested in reading, which I think is pretty good. I would say that I do read a pretty good combination between like what's popular and what's maybe not so popular, but that I personally have an interest in. So I think I have a pretty good balance going. So yeah, let me know in the comments if there's any books on this list that I didn't mention that I'm interested in, but you think that I 100% should read. Let me know. Or also just let me know your thoughts on the list in general or any specific books. Leave a comment down below. I'll also link down below. I have done another video similar to this where I went through the books that Goodreads recommends to me based on, I guess, their algorithm of my reading. That was a really interesting one. Their algorithm, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, did pretty good. I think about 25% of the books they recommended I was actually interested in. So that was a really cool video. Definitely check that one out. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and keep an eye out for more videos from me coming very soon. Bye.